The original Tyson.
Rain. Okay. How, what, where? I mean, when we talk about rain, what are we talking about? Everything is particles. Let's just understand that right now. Everything is particles, including your physical body. All of this is particles, particles of light. Particles evolve to everything is fields. So when everything is particles, it evolves to everything is fields. What do we mean by that? We know how to place things in this specific slots. That's a house, that's a car, that's the sky, that's the sun, that's, but everything is particles. But we now place them into field because eventually from those fields, it's going to evolve to information. And if we keep this in mind, we'll be able to kind of understand everything else after this. So the force of the disruption, we talked about the disruption, the rain. We talked about the thought, of God hitting the ether and all that. But the force of the disruption or the rain is also the source of the Hunab Ku, which the Mayans call the one giver of movement and measure. One giver of movement and measure means that Hunab Ku is sending out information to all of the solar systems, all of the star systems, all of the planets, everything in this particular galaxy, Milky Way galaxy. Two harmonic fields of force create that rain, which is a source of energy. Now, force and energy cannot be defined without movement. So force implies movement. Energy also implies movement that creates frequencies and vibrations. So when we ask people to get their frequencies up, get their vibrations up, they have to, it's some type of movement involved, isn't it? It means that you can't stay stagnant in the same thought patterns, immovable, unmovable belief systems. You have to move, okay? Because that's a part of force and energy. So it says the cosmic science, cosmology, is radially simultaneous, meaning that the moment of the beginning is still happening, and everything that has evolved from it is still happening simultaneously. In other words, that rain that happened all those billions of years ago is still happening. It's just continually happening. Nobody can figure it out. How can it be? How can it still keep going after all this time? But it is. The rain is infinitely repeatable and ever present. So we can become more aware of it through the analogy of sex, for instance. We think about it. When the sperm hits the ovum, it recreates the primal rain. And from that comes creation. Okay? So everything exists within the present moment as a radially simultaneous flow of events. Therefore, it is not necessary to go back millions of years or billions of years to reach the origin of creation, but rather sink more profoundly into the present moment where everything is always occurring. Now we know that everything is always occurring in the present. People tell us all the time, stay in the present, don't they? Stay in the present. Don't go out of the present. The present is where your energy is, where your safety is, where your calmness is. When you start going outside the perimeters of the present, then that's when we get in trouble with all of the emotions waiting on us, all of the backstories, all of the memories, all of the emotions, and then we find ourselves lost time travelers. But if we stay in the present, it's not that we have to go reaching beyond something because everything is steadily happening. Just the way it occurred all those billions of years ago. So plasmas are conductors of electricity and therefore are affected by magnetic field. More than 99% of matter in the universe is plasma. So in cosmic science, electricity is defined as the creation of different force fields or lines of force. So these electronic lines of force exist independent of electrons. Wow, right? How can something exist independent of electrons when we were taught in school that electrons, neutrons, and protons were all made up of the atom, right? But in modern physics, the idea is that electricity is somehow a function of electrons. Cosmic science says that electricity is a function of lines of force that existed prior to the existence of electrons. Where does the electrons fit in at? But it opens up a reality to other things. What is it that we want to see? We should use these electrons for that, right? Electric lines of force. That's really what this is boiling down to. Where all this stuff came from and how we can use it. Each planetary orbit is like a tone or a chord. The planet itself is the note holding a tonal chord. The inscriptions which a planet bears define the types of life forms it's capable of handling, such as carbon or silicon. All the planets of a given star system must be carefully inscribed so that their relations to each other are harmonically resonant. This thing is deep. We got more than one or two roles to play. All right. We are on all types of dimensions as we speak, but we're just aware of this one. But now these type of courses are designed so you can begin to be aware of the other dimensions that you are also on, namely the fourth and fifth dimension. Right now, we want to get to the fifth dimension.
You know what's